right. Looks like we're a few seconds in, so maybe you'll be able to hear me without the first things I say being cut off. I think I have a little bit of time before Keisha goes live, so I'm going to try and get, I can do this, 64 through 75. Do a quick run through on those collages from my 100-day project, which is a project where you can do anything you want for 100 days. You choose your project, your medium, what you want to do. Today is day 96, only 4 days to go. So yay, I am so close to being finished with this. I'm not going to quit collaging when this is over, but it will be a relief to not feel the pressure to publicly acknowledge that I am in fact still working on it, even if I'm behind on my pictures on Instagram, which I finally did, hooray, get caught up with today. I was actually caught up a couple of days ago, but then Instagram was being a butt and wouldn't let me post my pictures, so I fell behind a little bit again, but now I am 100% caught up. And or at least on Instagram. I'm behind on here, but we're gonna hit 75, and I finished my 96th one about 2 hours ago, maybe. I did it during Natasha's live stream. So let's get started with number, if you think I could remember, number 64. And this is on the back of the sales order. This is the front. I've shown you ones where I did it on the back where it's just that heavy cardboard. This is the front of one of those sales order things, and I coffee dyed these. They actually came out pretty good. I can show you one maybe. They're right here by my desk. So they came out pretty good. Some of them are darker, a few of them are lighter, but I'm happy with the overall effect. They're very thin, but I did make some tags out of them, and I probably put away the thing where it was in. But I backed it with some coffee dyed paper to give it some thickness, and then I made some tags out of them. So these are pretty fun to do some different things with. You could round off the corners and make a big journaling card out of it. I just like the possibilities, and it's super lightweight, so it won't bulk up a journal, even if you back it on a piece of coffee or tea dyed paper or a book page or something like that. They're just fun to use. So this is the front of the package that came in. I'm trying to reuse everything that comes in the house. I'm not always successful, but I'm trying to get there. So this is just your plain old distress ink. It's the brown, the walnut stain, and I just like smooshed this on there to give it that grungy look in the background. So it's the white with that grungy all over it. And then I used the black and the yellow of this, the Daler-Rowney acrylic artist ink. And I basically just like threw some on there, and then I did this to the card. Like I let it dry for a minute until it was, you know, not so loose and flowy. And that's how I got that effect in the yellow and the black. And this is, in fact, I think, no, I don't. Oh, this is a memo. Like, if you... Hold on, I'll go get it. It'll just be easier to show you what it looks like when it's whole. I don't know if businesses still use these, but it's called a rapid memo. And so you write out your thing. Maybe you write it to your secretary. I'm not even sure how they're used anymore. But you would get a, you know, it's a carbon copy thing. So this is that torn into a heart shape. This is a page from a shorthand book, and that's just book page. And the overall theme was better. So even if your heart gets dirty and grungy from the things that happen to you in life, things can always get better. And that's my day 64. 65 is, we had the one before And it was the little rabbit with the sweater vest. And this is Fox. And he's got some little tools and stuff. So I'm not sure what he's supposed to be. But he's got some little scissors and some other little things in here. And I'm not 100%. I almost want to think maybe he's a tailor or something like that. Anyway, I just really dig these. And it's from a catalog where they were like little stuffed things that you would put on a mantle or a bookshelf or maybe on a bed or a couch, you know, in front of some pillows. And the message today was just unexpected. And this is, it's a piece of drawing paper that I brayered stuff onto until it was dirty and grungy. And then I stuck it on here, which is, okay, so this one is made out of the front, and then there was the back. And then there's a piece that is attached to the back where you slide it between the sheets so that you don't wind up with your, you know, because it has a carbon copy of it. So you don't wind up like going 5 or 6 or 7 pages down by writing on it. This is the piece that goes under to keep it from affecting ones that are further down in the cash receipt thing. And that is day 65. Day 66 is the same thing. It's the same divider thing so that you only write on one and it doesn't bleed through to additional receipts below that. Same grungy paper, just a different spot on the paper. I am a child of the 70s and 80s. I was born in 1971 and I was a teenager in the 80s. So this is 70s and 80s love. And I do totally 100% dig the 70s. Everything about it, even the horrible, horrible cookbooks with their recipes and the hair and the bell bottoms. I like it all. And that is day 66. Day 67 is Undone. And let's see. This is on an orange dip dyed index card. I like to have the color on the back for when I journal on them. So this is some of that rapid memo paper. And then a picture of, I think it's a ballerina under there. But basically it's when you feel undone. Like when things get in the way and you don't feel like, you know, you're completing the things you need to, or that you're incomplete in yourself. So that was what was speaking to me on day 67. And this is day 68. It's the back of one of those sales orders. Now I know you can see the back is like, on this one is probably not a big deal because it's white. But on ones like this one and the one from the beginning, I would put some other paper over this, either some coffee dyed paper or maybe some lined notebook paper. Probably something a little bit thicker than notebook paper because this is bright and vivid, to make it a journaling spot. They'll all become as a possibility to be journaling spots. More of the grungy paper. I was trying to use up a sheet of, the drawing paper I have is big. The sheets are about 12 by 12. Not exactly that, but close enough. So it was a huge piece. So it's in several days. I feel like something just, okay. Worth of the collages because I was trying to use up some of it. It was huge. The end is near, and that's a question mark. Obviously, it's from a big stencil set. But don't despair because endings are also beginnings. So no matter how awful an ending is, how welcome or unwelcome, there's always something right around the corner that's a new beginning. And then we are at 69. And it says join. It's more of that grungy brayer paper. And maybe I should have spaced it out over more days instead of using it every day for days in a row. And this is about the cult of family. So we've got, you know, lovey family. And things families probably do together. And your family might be furry, you know, little creatures that live with you. But, I'm going to stamp in join and the cult of family. I'm going to stamp it in. I did put that it was about the cult of family when I posted on Instagram. Because if you think family's not a cult, you're wrong. I don't mean it in a bad way. And I did write it on the back too. This is day 70. More of the Braille paper roll off. And it just says raise heck. I think we all know what that means. I get an image from a magazine of a crocodile, a Tim Holtz butterfly, and I mushed them together. And isn't that terrifying and awesome at the same time? So that's day 70. So I did finally get back to the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. This is from the same book as the other image of Jack when I did my Discover one. And this is from my, hold on, it's falling down. This is from my jar of phrases. A guilty secret revealed. So, you know, when you might be being greedy or gluttonous. And then we've got some brown butcher paper map, tea-dyed ledger paper, part of an old dictionary, Tim Holtz paper, tissue paper, and then the image of the giant. I like that he has earrings, and he is wearing just a god-awful, ugly, stripy shirt. But he's got his sack of silver and gold there. And that was my day 70. Day 7, is that right? 71. 71, that's day 71. 72 is an image of a butterfly from a photography magazine. And I had probably about 10 or 12 of them, and I'm almost out now, so I'm a little sad about that. Got a little picture of the moon through a hallway up here, so maybe the butterfly is going there. It's a map, Tim Holtz paper, book page, foreign language page, and then this is on a olive green dip-dyed index card, cut down. It was in a journal that I made that I deconstructed because I wasn't happy with it, and I'm currently in the process of reconstructing it. But it had something on the front, a piece of paper or something, and I pulled it off. So what you see in the very background here is that paper that got pulled off, and it was pretty grungy coffee dyed paper. And it just says inspired, because that was my message for the day. And then I'm going to flip these two bigger ones over now. I had them flipped over, not because they're super secret, but because they were bigger, and I felt like it was busying out the image on the inside. You know, when you put the smaller image over it, it was just too busy. So this is a larger piece, and this is from the transit book for the Phoenix Scottsdale bus line, because they are printing a new one like every 4 months. They've made so many changes to the bus routes and stuff. I feel like that's been ongoing for such a long time, and it may be happening in your city too. And you may not realize it because you don't take public transport. But I opted not to have a car when I got divorced. Mostly because I wanted out more than I wanted stuff. But once I hadn't had one for a while, I just thought, well, I can get almost everywhere I want to go. On the bus, our area has a local trolley, although it's much less accessible than it used to be. Now it's more for the tourists and the snowbirds than it is for the people that live here year-round. The route is more for people going to the community college, and it's not necessarily, there used to be like a little neighborhood trolley, and they did away with that. So now it's mostly for people who are going to school here or who are visiting local businesses. It's not so much for the neighborhood as it used to be. But I have about 3 or 4 of these transit books because I take the bus a lot because I don't have a car. And all that does is it changes the pace of how I do things. I do things slower now. I don't generally spend a whole day running errands. It's usually one thing, especially if it's hot. So I live my life at a slightly different pace, but, you know, it's not bad. You say to some people, I take the bus, and they look horrified. And sometimes the bus can be horrifying. But I've also met some extremely interesting people on there, and, you know, riding the bus is like working in hotels. You see stuff on there that you will never see anywhere else, and it can be its own form of entertainment. And I don't mean that in a mean-spirited way. It's just you see stuff that you would not see anywhere else. So you've got pictures. I think this is antelope, like on the Serengeti. Um, and it says, sometimes being a part of the herd is the best disguise. And then you've got the usual suspects here. Masking paper. This is a large piece of a map of India. Some Tim Holtz paper. Some lined. I think that might be from the Rapid Memo back there. I can't 100% tell. And then, of course, that's on the back of the transit thing. And I glued 3 pages together to make it a little... And then for the last page, I chose one that was only half a page. So I could maybe like just go over this to make it a little bit lighter and then journal on this whole page if I wanted to. So that's what happened there. And that is day 73. Day 74 is on the back of the Rapid Memo. This is the cardboard back for that. You've got kindergarten papers, the shorthand, the Griggs shorthand book pages, more Rapid Memo. I get on a kick and I'll just use the same thing on multiple ones, but not necessarily in the same way. You got foreign language. This is from some coffee dyed or tea dyed pages out of the local white pages book page, painter's masking paper, grid paper, and then this is a beautiful door. I think it's in Tibet. Might be in Mongolia, I'm not sure, but it's from a magazine and I've had it for a long time. And the message today is just go beyond. Push beyond your limits. If you are able to. It's not a missive to go beyond what you're capable of. If you don't have the spoons for it, obviously. But if you're feeling the push, go beyond. And this is day 75 right here. And we are on some sort of the back of something. I don't know what. This is an image I harvested from a magazine a while ago, and it's pollution. I don't know if you can tell. So I'll hold it up a little bit, but it's like smokestacks. I think this is in China or Russia. And it's quite an old image. It's from an older magazine. And I've had it for a while. It's been in my boxes of images. So the message, and the whole sky is like this sort of smog. It's full of that. You can't really, there's a city back here, a cityscape that you can't really see, even if I shove it right up against my face. So I tore, around that, and I inked it up, and then I put an image of, it's a lovely stream, it's a brook in the woods with the flowers, and the message is just break free. I hope we can. I don't know if we will. As a society, and not just in the U.S., it's kind of worldwide. We are some pollutant beings at the moment. I always think there's hope for the future, so I think we can break free. And even if it's not about pollution, if you're in a place in your life where you feel like you need to break free from something, I hope that you will find a little inspiration to do so. And that is it for this round. That makes days 64 through 75 all complete. So I will continue with that until we are current or done, because there's only 4 days left in the challenge, and this is almost 20 minutes, so I've babbled on longer than I should have, and I am so sorry. If you have made it to the end of this one, thank you so much for watching. I have enjoyed all the comments you've made so far, and the support I received in a couple of live streams. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, whatever day you are watching this. I hope your life is filled with joy and all the things that bring you happiness. Bye.